What do you think of before we move on from the rap, which you just recited, what do you think of Max Caster's rap this week?
I liked it. He's growing on me. He's obviously trying, right? And the thing is with this combination, because Bowens is injured too, although they screwed that up here shortly. We'll talk about it in a second. The Ass Boys, I love in the ring, and they're kicking ass as a tag team, but we haven't really heard a lot of them talk yet. And Caster is so comfortable on the microphone, and he's doing this shit, so he's kind of like the talk, and they're the work, and I think they're a little bit farther advanced than his in-ring, and his verbal is a little farther advanced than theirs. So they're doing good together. But
so naturally, they'll split them up next week.
Well, I'm sure they will, because they've already teased it, except whose side is their father on? You think that Billy is going to turn on his boys and go with Caster and Bowens? So this match was Max Caster and the Ass Boys against Danhausen and FTR. Because apparently the Ass Boys have been having problems with Danhausen, and they challenged Danhausen, so Danhausen comes out and does the promo, which if he was hosting a local horror movie theater, that'd be great, or if he's doing some other type of show business. But as I mentioned before, from the first time I heard his first promo, I think this guy's funny, and I'll never want to see him wrestle, because then I'll hate him. Because now that you put it in a wrestling context, what the flying French fried titty fuck is going on here? This is the first match I've seen, right? And you made me watch it.
Well, first of all, I didn't make you watch anything.
You asked me to watch it because it's FTR.
Tony Khan made you watch it. He's the one who booked it. Don't blame me.
You told me, don't skip FTR and the Ass Boys. Just Danhausen's not in it much.
Okay, let's be honest. I did say to you, don't skip this match just because you see Danhausen. Don't let Danhausen's involvement and whatever spell he has put on you dissuade you from seeing everyone else who shines in this match.
All right. So Danhausen did a promo and brought out FTR, and I wrote then, this is like an expensive rock and roll fantasy camp where an amateur gets to duet with Robert Plant. Just Danhausen teaming with FTR in all seriousness, and we'll get to the worst insult later on. So, in my opinion, the Gunn boys, Austin and Colton, have the potential to be the best in-ring heel tag team in the business in a few years. They work hard, they get it. They're very animated, and when they smooth out and get a little more muscle memory on their experience, they're going to drop about the 10% of the animation that makes them look a little awkward, and the rest of the animation is welcome because nobody else does it anymore. But they don't just stand up and wander into something. They fucking charge into it. They stagger. They fucking do the drunk cell, whatever the fuck. They're working their ass off. When they get a little smoother, they're going to gear that back about 10%. They're going to be awesome. And obviously FTR is flawless in most everything that they do. They go to the break getting some heat on Danhausen, and they come back from the break, and Danhausen is trying to, quote-unquote, wrestle. And it has still never been explained, has it? Not only what this fucking guy's deal is, but why, if this guy is allowed to wrestle in AEW, why can't anybody else off the street come in? Why? Because he has no physique. He's got no size. He doesn't look in any way intimidating. They have told us nothing about how he may look weird, but he's secretly trained with Gene LaBelle and, fucking judo. It's just a guy that looks like a normal fucking guy with his face painted, wearing a gimmick, that's being allowed to get in the ring and wrestle with professional athletes. And there's no explanation for it. And if he can do it, why can't anybody do it? And actually, from looking at this television program and their roster, maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Anybody can do it. So at one point, one of the ass boys, I can't remember who it was, actually set it up for Danhausen to tag Dax as a hot tag instead of just laying there and letting Danhausen tag. He actually put something into it. But then Dax and Cash both made a comeback on both Gunn boys while referee Aubrey was sitting there. It just went into a double comeback. It wasn't even a Dax made a single comeback, bumped both heels a time or two, shoots one off, hits a false finish cover. The other heel makes a save, brings Cash in. They just jumped in and decided to do multiple German suplexes on the heels. At the same time, referee had no problem with it. This is what I was so... They just waste everything. Danhausen signals he's going to go for the go-to-sleep, Punk's move. But Billy Gunn draws the referee, and Bowens, who's been in a wheelchair now for, 2 months on the program, because he's really been hurt. Legitimately.
His knee, I believe.
So he gets out of the wheelchair, slides in the ring, stands up with the crutch, and swings it, and hits his own man instead, or his own partner, his own side, and Danhausen covers him and gets the one of the guns and gets the 1, 2, 3. So they wasted Bowens getting out of the chair. If they were going to, you could have done something with that to at least let these guys cheat and win once. But instead, he gets out of the chair and fucks up, and his team still loses. So now he's just a complete idiot. And you've got Danhausen teamed up with FTR, which again, let's throw fucking a Fozzy roadie in on stage with the Rolling Stones, and he's the one that gets the fucking pin. Not the tag team champions of every organization in the world except this one. And then, because the Guns and the Acclaimed lost, they got mad and started pissing at each other, and Billy Gunn shoves his own boys and takes the Acclaimed side. So now are we going to see a family feud are they going to screw up everything we enjoy? What'd you see here?
Well, let me first say it's really nice to see, considering what's happened the last several years. From the moment that music hits and you see Cash and Dax walk out, there's a confidence on their face that they haven't had. They know they're made right now. The fans anointed them. The Young Bucks were pushed. Other tag teams have been pushed. The fans decided on their own that FTR deserves better. And look at what's happening right now. The Gun Club, as I believe their Christian name is, have impressed me. You called it out first before I ever saw it, but now I've been paying extra attention. Forgive me for not knowing the names, and I'm not trying to insult them, but...
Austin and Colton.
I was going to say the littler one. Is that Austin?
Well, Austin is a little bit farther advanced than Colton. He may be the elder one. I don't know, though.
And Colton's the one you said reminds you of Kurt Hennig?
No, I think it was Austin.
Oh, was it Austin? Okay. I wasn't sure. I was trying to watch the match and figure that out, but I was going to say Austin was actually really impressive. I thought Colton was the one you were raving about.
They're both good.
Max Caster has more personality and is so clever on the mic. I agree that he hasn't really shined in the ring as of yet.
But he very seldom, he doesn't have a lot of single matches, and in these 6-mans, he's very seldom in.
And the other thing is, every one of those people that came out, and I'll talk about Danhausen in a second, including Danhausen, though. But every one of those people that came out, Max Caster, as soon as that music hit, that place exploded. And they were ready for it. They were into it. When FTR's music hits, place goes completely nuts. FTR's getting bigger pops than the Bucks ever have in AEW. Think about that. Again, that's on their own. That's the fans.
Well, it's not a surprise to me, because if you show somebody something long enough, they can determine which is the quality and which is the cheap knockoff. And that's what's happened. That's why at the start of AEW, when I said, what in the world is Tony Khan doing signing all of these indie guys with limited potential to long-term contracts because they have a fad audience? and the fad audience don't stay with you. They weren't legitimately over. They had a fad audience, and that's wearing out now that the one note of all of their jokes is old. Whether it's the guy with his hands in his pockets, the guy that's spraying the cold spray, or the fucking same moves they were doing when they were in their 20s, or regardless of who the particular indie darling was that Tony couldn't get enough of, people are tired of that shit because it's just that. It's when you saw it on the indies once every 6 months and maybe in your local rec center, you might have got a kick out of it. But every week on television, it gets old and they don't know how to do anything else.
Well, what I was going to say about Danhausen is, and I understand there are a lot of fans who really like him, and I like the personality. I don't like him as an in-ring wrestler participating at this level. When I say at this level, teaming up with FTR, who are the best in-ring tag team in the fucking business, against a young emerging tag team, against someone who's showing a lot of potential.
Or on national television at all, because it just makes the wrestling business look even sillier than we've managed to make ourselves look already.
Well, again, a month ago, FTR were teaming with CM Punk on Dynamite. And now they're teaming with Danhausen. With that said, and I'm not justifying it in any way that's going to change your mind on anything, if the goal was, let's finish up whatever the hell they've done with Danhausen and the Ass Boys, which I don't know what that is, then I guess this finished that up. You got him on TV. People got to see him. I don't know if it was his hometown or something. And we'll move past it. I mean, but the first hour of the show, you had Orange Cassidy, and then you had Danhausen. I think it's the first time they've ever both been in a match on the same show on AEW.
And we can hope it'll be the last.